So let's kick off the webinar from IT admins to teachers and parents, keeping students safe and productive on devices. My name's Aaron Webb and I'm the Education Product Marketing Manager here at Jamf. Before joining Jamf, I used to work in inner city schools in East London as a tech coach and IT admin. I'm an Apple Distinguished Educator class of 2013 and I've worked in 2 Apple Distinguished schools. I also hold a COP Ambassador training certificate, so I am a Child Exploitation and Online Protection Ambassador. In today's session, we're going to dive into these 4 main sections and give some insight into how Jamf puts the spotlight on keeping students safe and productive on Apple devices. In this webinar, we'll dive into protecting the students from harmful content and malicious threats without sacrificing the Apple experience with Jamf. Importance of teaching students to navigate the online world safely and confidently, regardless of the device, platform or app. And then look at tools to proactively engage staff, students, parents and carers in school activities that promote student safety, productivity and student success. Finally, we'll round up with leveraging digital signage and classroom connected technologies to bring fast, effective communication to keep students safe. So let's get going. So let's start with a Jamf overview very quickly to kick us off. Jamf helps organisations succeed with Apple. And a major benefit of choosing Jamf for our exclusive focus on Apple is our history and of our commitment to something we call same-day support. Same-day support means less work for you, faster access to new Apple features for your staff, teachers and students, and better controls for your admins. For 10 years running, Jamf has delivered support for new operating systems, Mac OS, iPad OS, iOS and tvOS the day they are released. If students are craving that hot new feature from Apple, it's easy to kick off a mass operating system upgrade across your entire Apple fleet. On the flip side, if you want to pause the availability of a new operating system, you can delay the operating system upgrades for up to 90 days, so your team can take time to test and validate before making the OS available to everyone. Jamf offers the most comprehensive portfolio of Apple management products in the market. Our Apple Enterprise Management Platform, optimised for education, helps schools, IT and educators spend less time managing technology and more time invested in their classrooms. From small deployments in single schools to large-scale school districts with thousands of Apple devices. Jamf helps more than 57,000 organisations manage 25 million plus Apple devices and counting. When education organisations need the world leader in Apple management, they turn to Jamf. The world's largest K-12, primary and secondary schools and the best universities around the world choose Jamf for Apple management. But we have a dedicated Apple Enterprise Management Platform for education with a specific mission for education: to empower student success. And how we are supporting student success is with these 3 statements. We are optimizing the Apple Enterprise Management Platform for education, supercharging education workflows to empower learner choice and strengthen key partnerships to deliver a complete Apple experience. So let's dive into the content of today's session. Protecting students from harmful content and malicious threats. So let's look at our first topic, and that is to inspect network traffic to and from the internet to make sure that your environment and your network is safe. So the first thing to do is to look out for filtering out malware. Malware's initial point of entry onto a school district's device is often via a web page visit to a malicious website, sometimes spurred by a phishing email. Even if a hostile link sneaks through a district's email filter, it is possible to stop the attack via network-based malware filtering. The next consideration is to test against email scams. And one way to assess your school's resilience to email-based phishing scams is to implement a phishing testing for teachers and staff whether via a formal program or by less formal means. Another step to take is to make sure that you block malicious documents. Embedding a malicious macro in an Office suite file or a document, sometimes referred to as malicious doc or maldoc, is a popular tactic used by criminals to bypass antivirus software and gain unauthorized, persistent access to sensitive school data and IT systems. These maldocs may be delivered via email, often in the form of a social engineering attack, or made available for download from compromised websites. A properly configured, and this protective measure prevents educators, staff, and students from advertently opening and executing malicious macros in popular Office suite applications, have led to ransomware and identity theft attacks in K-12 settings. Limit your exposed services. Internet exposed services such as remote desktop protocols, RDP, provide a method for attackers to reach inside a school's network to create disruption and steal data. In some cases, these services can be vulnerable to attack simply by being turned on. So let's look at now at the protecting the identities of students, teachers, and the wider staff group. And we start to do that by looking at the protecting the user logins. Users need more than just a password to adequately protect their accounts from unauthorized logins and abuse. One strong password option is to protect user identities using a multi-factor authentication. To log into an account or to complete a transaction, multi-factor authentication requires 2 or more independent credentials to protect user identities. Something the user knows, such as a password, and then something the user has, such as a security token or authentication app. And something the user might have by using the biometric verification methods, such as the fingerprint or face recognition. Also, improve the password management. Passwords remain the primary means of providing student and staff access to school IT systems and to ensure the confidentiality of sensitive data. Unfortunately, users frequently reuse and share passwords even when they've been compromised, and unencrypted passwords can often be found in scripts used by IT staff and in files on. And finally on here, stop online class invasions. In the shift to remote learning, the use of online video conferencing systems has been widely leveraged to provide remote classroom experiences for students. Left unsecured and publicly accessible, remote classrooms have been widely exploited. To test your vulnerability for online classroom invasions, initiate a virtual classroom session and invite a partner playing the role of a student to help. It's possible for your student partner to invite someone outside the district into a session by merely sharing a link or password. Do you have to approve the outsider before he or she is allowed in to the live session? If not, your district may be at risk of online class invasion. Another aspect to consider is to perform regular maintenance. Now, one of those is to install security updates. The developers of hardware and software often release updates to their tools in the form of patches, which may fix known bugs, enhance functionality, and or fix known security vulnerabilities. For some of the most critical IT systems, security updates are released on a regular basis. Timely installation of these updates prevents malicious actors from exploiting known vulnerabilities. Backup critical systems. The regular backing up of critical data, systems and applications has long been a staple of IT operations. Given the rise of ransomware actors targeting schools, the need for backups is essential. Backups that cannot be altered or changed, including malicious software, has become essential. And then finally, manage sensitive data. Schools are entrusted with collecting and managing sensitive data about students, families, staff, and school operations in compliance with federal, state, or local laws. As such, school leaders are required to have a reasonable understanding of data privacy laws to protect members of their school community. In doing so, schools should seek to minimise the risks associated with data breaches and leaks by proactively archiving or deleting sensitive data on a regular basis. So let's move on to safeguarding student, teacher and staff devices. One of the things that you can do is to restrict administrative access. Attack pathways into schools often leverage admin rights on teachers and staff devices. Restricting those rights slows the ability of a threat actor to install malware, steal passwords, and pivot their activities to other school-owned devices. It is among the most effective, low-cost cybersecurity risk management interventions a school can undertake. Then there's applying endpoint protection. Endpoint protection protects students and staff devices from viruses and malware. Endpoint protection solutions detect threats that may not have been previously blocked by older antivirus products. But one question to ask yourself as the IT admin is that, is your endpoint protection suitable for all your devices? And if you have Macs in your fleet, how are you ensuring that your Macs are secure with the right protection? We'll dive into that in a little bit more detail shortly. And the final point I want to cover is to make sure that you manage devices. A key part of ensuring students are safe is to ensure the devices are managed properly. I've seen so many schools where they've not even managed their Apple devices, and that means they're open to risk, but also the time of managing them manually by updating and downloading software updates, updating apps. It's just making that their devices are not being used effectively to support the learning. So let's dive a little deeper into endpoint protection specifically for the Mac. After hearing from many of our 40,000 customers that use Jamf to manage their Apple endpoints, they needed a security solution that doesn't break their Mac, keeps up to date with each Mac OS update released, and provides the proper visibility into unique events that occur only on Macs, and actually focusing on detecting attacks on Macs. A purpose-built Mac endpoint security solution. So let me introduce you to Jamf Protect. Jamf Protect is built on top of native Mac OS framework and is optimized to be non-intrusive to end users. We routinely hear from our customers that end users stop complaining about their security tools and just become more productive. One of the big wins of our approach is that our product does not generally interfere with common application or file activity, and as a result, most students and teachers never notice Jamf Protect until something bad happens. And one more big value of building for Macs and only for Macs is that we pride ourselves in supporting the latest Mac OS version on the day of its release. End users love to run the latest software that Apple releases, and Jamf will support it immediately. So that means you don't have to push out messaging that people need to hold off updating for the next 3 months. So we've looked at endpoint protection for Mac, but what about managing the device and other devices like iPad, iPhone, and even Apple TV? This is where Jamf offers the most comprehensive portfolio of Apple management products in the market. Our Apple Enterprise Management Platform, optimized for education, helps schools, meaning IT admins and educators, spend less time managing technology and more time investing in their classrooms. This means you no longer have to walk around to every device and manually update them. You can push out over Wi-Fi any of the updates for software updates through to app updates. You can do that simply from your management console. That's going to save you so much time, but also make sure that you're getting full use of your Apple devices and a return on your investment, but also making sure that you enhance the learning experience. A key component that works with Jamf is Apple School Manager. With both Apple School Manager and Jamf, you can ensure your devices are not only secure for your staff and students, but the workflow from purchasing devices and content to getting them to the hands of learners is quick and easy. Apple School Manager is a simple web-based portal primarily for IT administrators to manage people, devices, and content all from one place. When you're using the full range of Apple services, your students and staff will need an Apple ID, and using Apple School Manager, you can quickly create accounts to give students access to learning content while meeting the privacy needs of the school. Using Apple School Manager, you can create managed Apple IDs for everyone in the school. They have their own Apple ID, which, depending on their role, allows certain access to services on their device. So we've covered our network, we've also covered managing our devices and some tips for IT admins, but how do we extend that further to other personas throughout the school? Well, end user training is also important. Schools, colleges, universities all need to include cybersecurity awareness training as part of their staff development program. Rather than providing a one-off or annual training session, training needs to be conducted regularly to keep staff up to speed on the latest threats. Here are some ideas to help you establish a cybersecurity awareness program in your school. Doing nothing to improve cybersecurity in schools is now simply not an option. If costly cyber attacks are to be avoided, cybersecurity in schools must be improved. There are excellent resources to help education deliver cybersecurity training, and here is an example from the National Cybersecurity Centre in the UK. And here's some other resources available in other regions such as Australia. Check out your local country resources to make sure that you have some robust training resources to deliver cybersecurity awareness. So with the environment protected, let's take a look at the importance of teaching students to navigate the online world safely and confidently. It is important to teach pupils about the underpinning knowledge and behaviours that can help pupils to navigate the online world safely and confidently, regardless of the device, platform or app. However, schools need to understand the risks that exist online so they can tailor their teaching and support the specific needs of their pupils. Schools need to equip their pupils with the knowledge needed to make the best use of the internet and technology in a safe, considered and respectful way so they're able to reap the benefits of the online world. Here are some great resources available that I've used over the years. The DfE Education for a Connected World is a great resource and has so much information that you can leverage to build out an online safety curriculum. An organisation I'm a huge fan of is the CEOP Think You Know resources. They've got fantastic resources that cover all ages and presentations to use not only with children but with staff and parents too. And one of my favourites is the UK Safer Internet Centre, which I'll come on to in a second because it's going to be so important in the next few weeks. This is a great resource for both in school and for parents. And actually, on the 8th of February, it's the Global Safer Internet Day for 2022. There's some fantastic resources out there for every single country, so go and check them out. If you're in the US, there's the Connect Safely US home of the Safer Internet Day with loads and loads of resources. There's some resources there that you can use for live events, there's live streams, there's to help build out the community. And if I look at the Safer Internet Day for Australia, it's the Play It Fair Online, which has got some awesome resources, including this flyer that you can download. And then also if we go and look at the same sort of resources and toolkits that they've got in New Zealand, there's a supporter toolkit, social media assets. As you can see from this screenshot, there's resources for all ages. So there's some fantastic resources coming up for you to really celebrate and enhance the online safety experience within your schools and within your community on the 8th of February 2022. As I said, this is a great opportunity. We've got the Safer Internet Day coming up globally, so all countries can be involved. We'd love to see what you're doing by tagging us in on our social media sites at Jamf so we can see what you're doing to embrace your community. But one of the key aspects is to make sure that you involve the whole community, not just for Safe Internet Day, but going forward. A lot of you are probably already doing this already, but many parents rely on schools to help them keep up to speed and help deal with any online issues. There are lots of ways you can encourage parents to discover the information they need, and check out some of the online resources from the Safer Internet Day sites throughout your countries, because they will have tips and tricks for how you can actually engage parents going forward as well. So we have our environment covered, we've got staff awareness, and now we've got a curriculum to support our students and parents. But let's take a look at some tools to proactively engage students, staff, parents and carers that extend the security but also enhance their workflows. So let's kick off with an education specific app part of the Apple Enterprise Management Platform for Education, and that's Jamf Teacher. Now, Jamf School, or depending on your advanced IT needs, Jamf Pro, is where all your school's Apple devices will be configured. From Wi-Fi to apps, it saves time for IT or the teacher responsible for the Apple devices and allows them to give you the Apple experience you expect. To further extend the Apple experience in the classroom, there is an app specifically designed for teachers, which is available as an iOS application, Mac app for Jamf School users, and we call it Jamf Teacher. And what Jamf Teacher does is it takes some of that iPad management ability the IT admin team or teacher responsible for the overall management of the devices has in Jamf School or Jamf Pro and provide it to the teachers in their very own app. The teacher is then able to effectively manage the iPad or Mac class themselves in real time with workflows that allow you to strip away the technology and focus on the teaching without needing to bug IT or that teacher that's doing something else who's responsible for managing those devices or even log a ticket. So let's look at the Jamf Teacher app in more detail. The Jamf Teacher app gives teachers the tools to manage their class and keep students focused on their education. With the Jamf Teacher app, you can instantly restrict websites, apps, the camera, and much, much more. You can even lock all student devices at once with a custom message. Now go and check this out because this is a great app that actually takes some of that functionality from the IT admin and puts it back into the hands of the teachers. So the teachers are empowered with their workflow in their classroom, and it means you can focus more on those other things that you need to think about, such as printers, any Windows devices that you may be managing, or your network configuration. So less time managing the Apple devices and more empowered teachers in their classroom to just get on with their teaching and learning and remove IT as a barrier. And I know what you're thinking. As an IT admin or teacher managing devices and additional responsibility to everything else you're doing, where is the time to train staff on this new app? Well, we've got you covered because with the Jamf Educator program, this is a great online platform for actually you to pass on to your staff members to actually go and understand how the Jamf Teacher app can be used in your school. And it's completely free. And when I mean free, I mean absolutely zero cost whatsoever. So you can hop over to the Jamf Educator portal, and once you're there, you'll find two tracks. There's one for IT admins or technology coaches, and there's one for educators. Both offer the same amount of stops. There's 4 stops to go through, which actually has a simulation-based environment. You don't even need to download the app or have it on your devices. You don't even need to have Jamf at this point. You can go and jump on, experience what the app can do in your classroom, go through an online simulation and actually configure it and test it yourself, run through how it can be used. And at the end, you can actually gain a Jamf Educator badge. On the EdTech coaching side, there's also ways in which you can roll out a online professional development program in your school. Perhaps you want to run some staff sessions after school, you want to run a breakfast club, so you can actually touch on some of these points of rolling out this app in your environment. Great ideas there, so go and check them out. As I said, absolutely free. Once you've taken that simple online quiz at the end, you become part of the Jamf Educator program. You get a badge that you can share, but also you can then go and hop over to the online community of Jamf Nation, which I'll come on to later, where you can actually engage with all of the different educators throughout the world using Jamf technologies in their classrooms to actually enhance the learning experience and empower student success. So go and check out Jamf Educator, completely free. So another great resource here, just scan the QR code. If you don't have your device available, it's educator.jamf.com. Hop over to the platform, you can actually access it and go through some of the tracks and see some of the resources without having a login. But as I said, it's completely free. You can just register, you need a Jamf ID, and then you can actually start rolling this out on your school. So go and check it out, Jamf Educator platform. As I said, completely free, no money whatsoever. Go and check it out, get your teachers empowered. Please invite your teachers to become part of this great community and check it out for yourself if you are an IT admin. We understand schools have already got many established systems that they're already used to. And some schools may even be looking for new solutions to transform their teaching and learning experience. At Jamf, we partner with solutions that extend the value of using Apple technologies in your school and make it simple for IT, teachers, students and parents in the strive for student success. A solution that works with Jamf Teacher to deliver a seamless paper learning experience is Shobi. And Shobi combines all of the essential tools for assessment, feedback and communication in one beautiful, easy to use app. And this means less time struggling with your tech setup and more time for teaching and learning. As I said, there's great integrations between Jamf and Shobi, so go and check out the solution brief, which is on our marketplace, and I'll send some links up later for you to go and actually get quick access to that, so you can go and check it out. Great resource, works with Jamf Teacher, definitely something to check out for your school. Another one that works great with Jamf Teacher is Explain Everything. And Explain Everything is a supercharged virtual whiteboard for a seamless distant learning experience using Jamf. Explain Everything offers one-way whiteboarding to deliver a remote classroom that simplifies the process of getting the entire class on the same video conferencing session. There is also a collaborative whiteboarding, where the entire class or a small group can work together on a virtual canvas in real time to create a demonstration or presentation, and students can edit and perfect their work before sharing it. Now, this is going to be important when we come further down the presentation, because this is a great solution that can actually offer cost savings to schools if you think about your classroom environment setup, plus extend that ability to actually have it on a device that's going home as well. So we'll come back to Explain Everything, but it's a great one to use with Jamf Teacher, and I'll explain more why when we come on to the digital signage solution part of this session. Let's not forget about the parents. Parents are key in student success, and the communication between school and the parent community is paramount, especially when issuing devices that go home. To enable the parents, we have created Jamf Parent, which is an app that's currently available on both iOS and Android platforms, but it's also available through a web browser and even on Apple Watch. Jamf Parent provides management controls for parents, giving them the ability to limit apps and device functionality on your child's school-issued device. From removing specific apps during homework time to restricting the device functionality based on location, time or day, a parent can make sure their child is safe and focused on the best Apple experience on their school-issued device. Again, this is completely free. This is part of the Apple Enterprise Management solution for education that we have. So go and check out the Jamf Parent app. So the IT admins are covered with the management tools, teachers are covered with the Jamf Teacher app, and we've got parents equipped with the Jamf Parent app. But what about students? Well, Jamf School gives students management control over their own devices by powering them with setup, controlled install, and messaging capabilities so they get what they need from teachers when they need it. And with the Jamf School Student app, students can manage their own devices. They can install apps approved by the school and use documents stored in their personal iCloud storage drive. So when we think about actually relieving some of that burden from the IT admins or that teacher that's got to manage those Apple devices as an additional responsibility, these three apps are absolutely crucial to extending that workflow and saving you time. By having the ability for students and teachers to actually update their own apps and actually install software updates as well, it means that it's less time for you to do that and you can focus on other tasks. It also empowers them to embrace their own experience of using Apple technology to make that experience much more personal and suited to their needs when they need it. So let's move on to our final section with only the school environment left to cover. So let's look at how we can leverage digital signage and connected classroom technologies. A project I've been heavily involved in my time before joining Jamf was the classroom and wider school setup. I've seen so many schools move away from interactive whiteboards, and here are some of the benefits that I've seen when I've worked on these projects. There's a huge cost saving. By moving away from interactive whiteboards and opting for a large LED screen, the cost saving over an interactive whiteboard is huge. It also offers the option for having multiple displays per classroom. If you think about the current classroom setup, you have an interactive whiteboard at the front, everyone faces the front and in rows, and it's just one display that's being used by the teacher. as I mentioned earlier, which is super important because then you've got an interactive whiteboard on a teacher device. So a teacher can have their iPad, an Apple Pencil, and be free to roam around the classroom. It doesn't mean to say that they're standing at the front anymore. They can be walking around, seeing what the students are doing, but still writing on an interactive whiteboard that is displayed on the screen in front of them. And what's more, you've then got an interactive whiteboard on every student's device. If a student is using an iPad with Explain Everything, that whiteboard is now being multiplied by 30, however many students you've got in the class, and it can be going home as well. So the ability for them to do their teaching and learning on an interactive whiteboard and not just have one at the front of the classroom actually excels the opportunities for what you can do with teaching and learning. And finally, if you was to connect an Apple TV, and this can be done with an interactive whiteboard, but it's easier with a TV because you can just plug it in, you can change the source, and that means that you can AirPlay from your Apple devices. So if you've got students with iPads in the classroom, they can display their work, they can show, they can share, they can explain, but also a teacher can do that from their Mac or from their iPad as well. So it's a great way to have wireless display of what's on your Apple device if you're going to show a child an app, how they're going to use it, or you want to explain something to them with Explain Everything, you can just mirror what's on your Apple device directly to the classroom display. Now that Apple TV is key because not only would you be able to AirPlay and actually mirror what's on your device, but it also enables you to go so much further, and that's with digital signage. Apple TV has distinguished itself as a living room fixture, with families relying on it to stream digital content across multiple apps or from their personal devices using AirPlay. But it also has a potential to be a dedicated and scalable wireless media player featuring zero-touch enrolment, which makes it a powerful tool for schools to display content around not only their classroom, but the wider school building. And this is a trend that we're seeing from the previous slide. Both K-12 and higher education classrooms are using Apple TV to replace expensive, high-maintenance projectors to easily display digital slides and documents without being tethered to a board on the front of the room. As I said, students and teachers alike can AirPlay their presentations from Mac, iPads, iPhones, even non-Apple devices in some cases. It's easy to allow students to collaborate in real time and to expand the conversation with video conferencing capabilities. The Apple TV is now your best option for an all-in-one classroom tool. There's really no limit to what Apple TV can do for your school, whether it's a single device or an extensive fleet. Just plug it into a TV screen and you're ready to begin the process of transformation. So let's look at the story of Jamf, Apple TV, and one of our partners from our marketplace, Carousel Digital Signage. So let's have a look at some of the benefits of using an Apple TV, Jamf, and the digital signage solution from Carousel. So not only can you have a wider use of the digital signage solution, not only in the classroom, but across your school campus or school buildings, is you can display the school lunch menu. You can connect with students in your class. You can reach students and parents at home, and you can display school events and announcements across the school so everyone's informed and up to date. But best of all, you can inform students and staff during emergencies. Now this session is about keeping students safe and productive, and leveraging digital signage with something like this is absolutely fantastic. AirPlay Interrupt with Jamf and Carousel is one of the great features of using an Apple TV, where each device can be available for individual use up until the point where you need to display important messaging across your fleet. Jamf and Carousel digital signage make it easy to interrupt AirPlay sessions and instantly override them with your priority content. So you may have a student giving a presentation on an Apple TV in the classroom, but then you may have the school lunch menu that's on a screen outside the canteen. AirPlay Interrupt, all those active AirPlay sessions are automatically stopped, and a student safety message can be sent to every display across the school. Now that really does empower student safety and leverage digital signage solutions across your school. So check out Jamf and Carousel for more options. Now, if you want to find out more about Apple TV management, we have a great resource. And in this ebook, you'll find explanations of what makes Apple TV unique and how you can make it work for you, including Apple TV with its own OS, the introduction to Apple TV management, Apple School Manager and tvOS enrollment options, deploying Apple TV, device management post-enrollment, security and access considerations, and then real-world uses for Apple TV. Here's another great resource. Please scan your phones. This takes you to a Jamf ebook that's got all this information in there, so check it out now. Scan this QR code or use the URL below for access to the Apple TV Management Guide for beginners. And we've mentioned Carousel, but there are many other fantastic digital signage solutions that integrate with Jamf on our marketplace. I'm a huge fan of Trilby TV, a UK-based digital signage solution for education, and Trilby TV allows for a variety of full-screen content to be showcased, including video, Twitter feeds, web content, and image galleries. So scan this QR code for a quick access to our digital signage solutions on the Jamf marketplace to find a solution that suits your school needs. So, rounding up, let's recap of what we've covered in today's session. In today's session, we've covered protecting students from harmful content and malicious threats without sacrificing the Apple experience with Jamf. The importance of teaching students to navigate the online world safely and confidently, regardless of the device, platform, or app. We've then looked at the tools to proactively engage staff, students, parents and carers in school activities that promote student safety and productivity and student success. And finally, we finished up with leveraging digital signage and connected classroom technologies to bring fast, effective communications to keep students safe. I've shared many resources throughout, but I want to leave you with some additional content that you may find useful. And there's all about it a number of times with our Shobi brief, our education offerings with Explain Everything, but also our digital signage solutions. And actually the Jamf Marketplace is something to go and check out because it's not just about education solutions that we've spoken about in this session. There's cross-industry integrations, there's specific solutions, there's over 250 integrations currently available in the marketplace, and we're sure you'll find something that helps you and your school, whether that be something like Cisco, any other sort of integrations that you're looking at, Google, Microsoft, go and check them out. So if you're an IT admin, go and check out the extensive list of partners that we partner with. And also if you are looking for education solutions, you can also filter by them as well, because there's some for different personas, as we've shown today, with educators at the forefront with apps like Explain Everything and Shobi. Of course, we are nothing without our customers, and it's proven with the Jamf Nation community. And this is an online forum home to over 100,000 Apple IT focused individuals, and we're expanding that to educators as well. So not only are we talking about the Jamf Educator program, hop over to Jamf Nation, because there's sections for teachers where we can talk about what's going on with apps in the classroom, but also for your IT admin needs. There's a great community there, over 100,000 members strong. So come on, create a free account today, join in the discussion. There's a wealth of resources and third-party tools, discussions about best practice. So go over and check out Jamf Nation. We have a number of professional development sessions, and one of those is the Jamf Breakfast Club. We have a variety of guest speakers. It's every Thursday, the first Thursday of every month, apart from the February one, which we're actually doing on the 10th. That's the next one that's coming up. It's at 8 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, and the next one is with myself and Abdul Chauhan from Shobi. So scan this QR code to register. It's 30 minutes. We have a sort of a one-to-one chat. We talk about loads of different topics, and this one is basically going to be on Shobi. So if you want to know more from the brief that we've actually discussed in this session, join myself and Abdul on the 10th of February at 8 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. If you can't join at that particular time because it doesn't meet the needs of where you are in your country, don't worry, sign up. It's on demand as well, so you can catch up. And then you can actually see and watch it in any other sort of time frame that suits you. So go and check it out, the Jamf Breakfast Club. Number of sessions going forward as well, but the next one is the 10th of February at 8 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And don't forget to check out that Jamf Educator platform. It's not only for educators, but for IT admins too. So Jamf Educator, come and part of that community. Learn how you can actually get hands-on with the Jamf Teacher app without having to even deploy it on your devices. So go and check it out. It's an online simulation-based, completely free, the Jamf Educator platform. And for one last time, educator.jamf.com, or scan with the QR code here if you want to go and access.